know what? Maybe they can take away the Department of Education, but what they can't do is take away my psych degree. What up, my people? It's 2025, and 2025 ain't really starting off good, man. Y'all see what's going on outside. Shit is getting changed, and shit is getting changed quickly. For example, we are knocking on the door of an oligarchy, but you can argue and say that we've already been there for a really, really long time. Regardless of that point though, a lot of people are grieving that reality that we live in. Especially after the election, a lot of people lost hope in a lot of the systems that run the United States. People were claiming on to the fact that the lame duck president would do something, especially with the immunity clause, to actually change the course of where we're going right now. But that didn't happen. We have Trump in office, and I will be very quick on this one because this video really is not about Trump, but considering that I'm talking about the United States and its shifts, I have to bring him up. So let's talk about the executive orders. Mainly the one that I want to talk about is the executive order to allow ICE to begin to detain undocumented immigrants. This one became an immediate threat because everybody was aware of what's going on. There have been leaks, there have been publications, especially on other social medias such as TikTok, and I'm about to get to TikTok too. Don't think I forgot about that shit. A lot of people were aware of this because of Project 2025 being real, as if we haven't been saying that for fucking 6 months. Now we see ICE trucks looking to detain people who they suspect as undocumented immigrants. Namely, somehow a US veteran. Like, excuse me? I'm not really trying to get stuck on that one, but like, that's the level of discrimination and oppression that we're seeing. That people who are fully United States citizens are being caught in the crossfire to an executive order looking to discriminate on these people. This ICE deportation plan runs so deep that on healthcare.gov, if you have a pending immigration status, it tells you not to list it for your own safety. This includes immigrants who have followed the legal pathway to becoming a US citizen. They can't list their immigration status in fear of being deported after doing the right thing. Another executive order is trying to repeal civil rights era laws. For example, the Equal Opportunity Act, which gives people like me and other minorities the fair shot to get a job that we worked for. Let's put out another intention of Trump. He also wants to pull out of the World Health Organization. While I could dive really deep into why this is a problem, matter of fact, I'm not gonna just leave that point out there. The World Health Organization is an agency within the United Nations specifically designed to report public health and help out with public health issues. Tending on leaving the World Health Organization, you're putting every citizen at risk of health issues that they don't know about because we are no longer a part of that communication thread. Imagine this reality we basically did during COVID, where a random illness that looks just like the cold, in fact is not the cold, and started killing your relatives. And you don't know what it is until 6 months later when the fucking publications are allowed to say it. That is the level of censorship prevalent in the United States system currently. And also, for optics reasons, Trump also paused all public health communications until February 1st, which means we won't know of any viruses, any upticks in infections, or anything until February 1st. And Trump is doing this to try to look better. There is no other ulterior motive or conspiracy behind this. He wants to show the appearance that he's a strong president in his first 2 months. And the biggest one that ended up happening, which deserves an entire video on its own, is this TikTok ban, man. Oh my god. This was such an easy fucking layup for him to capitalize on. It hurt my head. I cannot believe that we let him do that. Especially when Trump was the one that started the ban on TikTok. And I think that was in 2019. Hell, I have a video talking about it. Like, oh my god. And while I'm saying Trump this, Trump that, Trump bad, in reality, the system of the United States was designed to get this bad. Okay, quick little editor's note here. Trump is that bad. No, he's really, really bad. I don't want you to think I'm not saying he's not bad. That dude is terrible. Let's just get that straight. To have authoritarian rule was always in the plans. Progressivism can and it has happened in the United States, but it's never the true intention behind the ruling class getting more powerful. Let's talk about our favorite president, which Honestly, after I say his name, the comment section might turn into a fucking war zone. Barack Obama on marriage equality. While Barack Obama was a senator in Illinois, he was very traditionalist in his marriage stance. He did not think gay marriage was valid, thinking that marriage is only between a man and a woman. But it was politically advantageous to sign a gay marriage bill to make him be one of the most favored presidents in the lens of social change. But I will give Barack Obama full credit for signing that bill in. He fully did that. That was a good for the LGBTQ community being legitimized in society at that time. But what Barack Obama did not do in the lens of social progressivism is sign and codify Roe v. Wade. And you might be saying, oh, he couldn't because there's gonna be Republicans that blocked it. Sorry. He had a supermajority, a Democratic supermajority. Barack Obama could have sneezed a bill into law and that supermajority would have signed it. Barack Obama refusing to codify Roe v. Wade despite this shows you that the system never wants to get too progressive. They understand their role. They want to look like they're progressive. They don't want to actually progress this country. And this leads me to my favorite point, which I'm gonna have to come back to like 3 times. The ruling class loves interest convergence. Let's run back to the marriage equality bill. That bill helped out the LGBTQ community, but it also raked in record level profits for these corporations and companies taking advantage of this new consumer base of LGBTQ people. Perfect example of this is every company in June with rainbow and pride flags everywhere, but the moment July hits, that shit's gone. The ruling class will only side with the working people if the ruling class can benefit more than the working people. Don't get it twisted. Let's look at the Civil Rights Act. In 1964, the Civil Rights Bill was signed. But this happened after the assassination of Martin Luther King. And they signed this bill as an appeal to minorities after killing arguably one of the most influential nonviolent protesters to have ever done it. By giving up this little piece of progressivism, those people may stop questioning the overall system. And that shit worked to a T because the rise of neoliberalism solidified everything that the ruling class really wanted. Because the whole goal of neoliberalism is to show the appearance of progressivism, but never actually doing anything progressive. For example, let's look at Kamala Harris. Let's look at some of Kamala Harris's policies. She looked very progressive. She wanted to make weed federally legal, especially with Kamala's background history of arresting black and brown people for AIDS of weed. It was nice that she tried to do this point, but she also wanted to attack the housing crisis as well as taxing the ultra wealthy. And those all are progressive things. However, Democrats are not progressive vessels of politics. In fact, they've been shifting right this entire time, and that is also intentional. While Kamala did have progressive policies, she also wanted a very strong border, almost mirroring what Barack Obama did. And Barack Obama deported a lot of people, like more than Trump, a lot of people. Kamala Harris still wanted to continue fracking, despite knowing that it's destroying our country and our earth as a whole. And these things came off extremely tone deaf to the progressive voters in the United States. Although Kamala Harris's policies were in fact very unpopular to the progressive voter base, this was still an issue of racism and misogyny plaguing this country, showing that we do not want a black female president to run our country. And the reason why they're tone deaf is because Democrats are trying to win elections, not win the people. Winning the people would win you any election because you're actually listening to what they're saying and not what the lobbyists are paying you to say or to think even. And I know I'm doing a lot of Democrat talk. I mean, listen, you see what Republicans are doing. Do I need to talk about Elon at all? Like, I'm not even going to imply that. And for people telling me that it's a Bellamy or a Roman salute, tell me why you know the difference. Because that means you've had to defend that salute before, and why are you doing that salute in the first place? You know what it was. We all know what it was. Algorithm purposes, I'm not going to say it. Oh man, fascism. But this election definitely made people lose faith in our electoral system. And in turn, it made people feel very, very powerless, me included. But then I began to realize we never really lost that power to begin with, right? Because at the end of the day, people still need to run these systems. So therefore, we have all the power to make substantial changes. And where's a place that you learn how to make substantial changes? Universities and colleges, man. Comparing college and high school, college is specialized education. versus high school having common education and knowledge. And the biggest appeal to college is the fact that it's specialized education that is not common knowledge. Let's break this down real quick. You're attending a college class, you have a professor. That professor probably has a PhD, which means they spent a really long time studying what they're talking about. Then they're giving you that knowledge. Now it's up to you to actually use that knowledge, but they did give it to you and you paid for it. And let's compare this to the high school education, which is just standardized education. Standardized education basically means that everybody learns the same exact thing at the same exact time and are tested on it. This standardized testing comes from the SAT, the ACT. Do they still do the ACT? I have no idea. And if you're from Michigan, you take the MME if you're in high school. I'm gonna be honest with you, dog. Shout out to the MEP, dog. I feel like a straight old head talking about the MEP, man. You don't understand the amount of stress I got from taking the MEP every single year as like a 5th and 6th grader, dog. But once you transition onto college, college allows you to study the things that you are actually interested in. That 4 years of personalized education is substantial to changing your local communities. For example, I study psychology and ethnic studies, and if you couldn't tell, that's kind of all I talk about. But my purpose of doing that is relaying the things that I've learned in interesting ways that you guys would enjoy. But say you got your degree in public health, you have learned a lot of things about nutrition, infections, epidemiology, to the point you can protect local communities. Like for example, if there's vaccine hesitancy, if you have a degree in public health, you can ease those concerns because you have that knowledge to combat those concerns. Let's talk to my business majors. What you learned in macro and microeconomics can be fundamental in changing your own family finances. You can create financial literacy within your family and set your generations up for success. And that's the true value of the education in college, is that you are a common person specializing your knowledge. You should be able to take that specialized knowledge back to the community that you came from. And that was kind of my whole goal when I went to college. I was on a full ride fellowship scholarship to do that specific thing. I was brought in by the college and I learned ways of community building as well as volunteer work to then take that back to my hometown and improve it. To me, that should be the entire goal of a college education, is learning things that you cannot in your hometown to then turn rebuild your community in a way better way than you could have ever imagined. But one of the biggest drawbacks to doing that is the fact that you start to lose that language of your neighborhood. Me in psychology, there is so much psychological jargon that I talk about that if I said this to somebody on the street, they would think I'm fucking crazy. I mean, that's a fair assessment, I kinda am, but like for example, me trying to explain interest convergence to somebody being disproportionately affected by it in the hood, man. Imagine how well that goes. Yeah, brother, you being affected by interest convergence. What are you talking about? Like, why are you talking to me? That is the response I'm probably going to get, because what am I saying to them? I'm not speaking in their language. And for the person trying to deliver this knowledge, this can be very frustrating to the point that you want to quit trying to do it. But how do we remedy this? Because in my personal opinion, I wholeheartedly view this as a way to awaken and help people for the foreseeable future. Us Gen Zers who have our degrees and they feel very useless right now, we can put a lot of value back into them by using what we learned in college to improve our communities. To improve our communities, we have to improve our empathy and listen to where our community is at the time. One of the biggest ways to learn how to speak in that language is to understand the concerns of the community. And once you understand those concerns, translate it through your academic brain and put it in a way that they will understand. This also involves breaking down concepts as simple as possible. Trying to use the word white supremacy is a big umbrella term that people can get lost in because they have their own different interpretations on it. But if you're able to break down white supremacy to something simple, such as extreme unfair treatment by the people who govern you, people are going to listen to that one more than white supremacy. And this makes me think about a conversation I had about dudes who want to be stuck in the hood. This conversation started by the person saying, hood dudes only want to sell drugs and listen to rap music, they don't want to get better. And I responded with saying, you need someone to speak in the same language as them. What do I mean by this? This means actually breaking down what they're listening to, what they like and what they dislike, and meeting them where they're at. Only selling drugs and you're trying to give him a better output, you need to ask him, what is going on that is making you do this? And if it's a financial issue, if it's an educational issue, if it's a social issue, then you can begin to help. But you have to meet them where they are first. It is important to meet people where they are and not where you think they need to be. Because in our minds, we like to envision people doing different things, knowing this, that, and the third, when they have never said it to you before or never even implied that they knew it. So it's best to ask, to listen, and to empathize, so then you can educate them and bring them to where you're at, so we can all learn from them. And that is the end of this rant, man. If you made it this far, I love you and I appreciate you, and thank you for showing up to my first video of 2025. More to come soon, man. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like on the video. It puts your boy in the algorithm so everybody can see your boy, Based Dom. Yes, sir, man. Leave a comment. How do you feel currently in the United States, especially if you have a degree and you're not working in your degree field? Do you feel demoralized? Are you encouraged that it'll get better? I would love to have a discourse with you in the comments. And subscribe, man. I say this every time, and I really hope y'all don't get bored of me saying this, but seeing that my channel has grown, even with me taking a little absence, means so much, because that means you guys really care about me and you really enjoy what I've done so far. And I'm happy that I could deliver videos in 2024 that you guys enjoyed and became fans of. Being able to express myself in front of this camera is something that I've learned to be passionate about, and you guys have been so supportive every step of the way, and I just want to tell you how thankful I am for that. All the likes, all the comments, all the shares, even the people for this video. People recommended me to talk about this. People recommended that I talk about this topic, and that's the only reason why I upload this rant, is because you guys asked for it. If you have any video ideas, if you have any topics you want me to rant about, DM me. My Instagram is down in the description. Also, my Blue Sky is in the description. I use it all the time. Go ahead, mention me. Let me know your topics. But I appreciate my subscribers, both old and new, because you make my dreams of being a content creator realer and realer every day. And I love you, man. Yes, sir. Once again, if you want to follow my Instagram, that's down in the description. But yeah, man, it's been Based Dom, people. Deuces.